Hey everyone, and welcome back to AI Pop.
Yeah.
Today, we're going to be taking a deep dive into something a little bit different. We're not breaking down a new trailer. We're not looking at a post-credit scene.
Nope.
We're actually diving into a movie review.
That's right. We're looking at IGN's review of the latest Captain America movie, Brave New World.
Anthony Mackie's first solo outing
Yes.
as Cap since he took on the mantle.
It is.
And I don't know about you, but the review wasn't exactly...
It wasn't glowing.
Glowing? Yeah. It was...
No.
It's kind of reminding me, and I don't know if you felt this way, but it reminded me a lot of the reactions to Love and Thunder.
Yeah, I see that.
Where some people were like, this is amazing. The other people were like,
I don't know.
I don't know. Yeah, something's missing.
Yeah.
So we're going to try to break down this review.
Yes.
See if we can figure out why this movie isn't quite hitting the mark
Right.
for some critics.
Absolutely. And one of the things that really jumped out at me right away was this criticism of originality, or a lack of originality. The reviewer even uses the word craven when describing the movie's reliance on past MCU storylines.
Craven is...
It's a strong word.
Yeah, not exactly a word you want to hear
No.
associated with your
Especially your big
superhero blockbuster. Yeah. And they specifically call out similarities to Captain America, the Winter Soldier. Which, now that I think about it,
Yeah.
also had that kind of political thriller
Yes.
vibe to it.
Secret organization.
Secret organizations and
shadowy figures.
double agents, conspiracies.
Yeah, and shadowy conspiracies.
Yeah.
So why is it that that same formula
Why doesn't it work?
isn't working as well in Brave New World?
Well, that's the question, isn't it? I mean, Winter Soldier is considered one of the best MCU movies.
By a lot of people.
Yeah, by a lot of people.
Yeah. So is it just a matter of timing? Have we seen this type of plot too many times already?
Yeah, or is there something else going on?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm trying to think of a good analogy here. It's like the difference between the first Iron Man movie and Iron Man 3.
I see.
Like the first one just felt so fresh and groundbreaking.
Yes.
But the third one, while it was entertaining,
Yeah.
just felt very formulaic.
Right.
Maybe Brave New World is suffering from a similar issue, trying to recapture the magic
Right.
instead of forging its own path.
Yeah. And it's not just the overall plot that's being criticized. The reviewer also points out that the action sequences feel a little uninspired, which is interesting because we know Sam can handle himself in a fight.
We've seen him.
We've seen him soar with those wings.
Yeah.
But the review suggests this movie doesn't really push the boundaries of what we've already seen.
It's like they gave him a couple new gadgets.
Right.
Courtesy of Wakanda, of course.
Of course.
But they haven't quite figured out how to use them in a way that feels new and exciting.
Right.
Maybe they're saving the really cool stuff for the next Avengers movie.
That's always a possibility.
Yeah. Marvel loves a good long game.
The long game.
They do. Yeah.
But you know what? Before we get too bogged down in what the reviewer didn't like, let's look at some of the positive stuff.
Yeah. Because they did have some good things to say.
They did, particularly about the performances.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So let's talk about those performances.
Yeah.
Because the review really seems to single out Anthony Mackie.
Yeah.
And, he's got some big shoes to fill, taking on this Captain America mantle.
Big time.
What did they have to say about him?
You know what? They actually had nothing but praise for Mackie.
Oh, wow.
They said that he really embodies those leadership qualities, that sense of hope and inspiration that we saw glimpses of in earlier films.
Yeah.
It really seems like he's finally coming into his own as Captain America.
Stepping out of that shadow.
Yes.
Not trying to just imitate Steve Rogers.
Checked, yeah. You can't just do a carbon copy.
Right. It's like, imagine trying to follow in the footsteps of Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones.
Right.
You can't just do the same thing.
You got to bring your own energy.
You got to bring something.
Your own spin on it.
Yeah, your own unique energy.
Yes.
And speaking of Harrison Ford.
Oh, yes.
He's in this movie, too.
He is.
And he's playing a familiar character.
That's right.
Thaddeus Thunderbolt Ross.
Uh-huh.
But with a bit of a twist.
Yes, a little bit of a twist.
So remind me the last time we saw Ross, he was kind of that gruff,
oh yeah,
no-nonsense military guy.
Very much so.
Always butting heads with the Avengers.
Yes, always.
What's he up to now?
Well, the review doesn't give everything away, but
Okay.
it does mention that he is now the president of the United States.
Oh, wow.
And they say that Harrison Ford absolutely nails the role, bringing a surprising amount of depth to the character.
See, now that's a little terrifying.
It is a little bit.
So is it Ross?
I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
This is the guy who was pushing the Sokovia Accords.
Yeah, trying to control the Avengers.
Trying to lean them in.
Now he's got even more power.
Exactly. And think about the context.
Yeah.
The world is still dealing with the fallout from Eternals.
Oh, my gosh.
A giant celestial corpse just sitting in the ocean.
It's like a giant ticking time bomb.
It is.
Except instead of a bomb, it's a space god.
Right.
And, that's causing all sorts of geopolitical chaos.
Absolutely.
Everyone's probably trying to get their hands on that celestial technology.
Oh, sure.
Which probably explains why Ross is so on edge.
Yeah, probably why he's so stressed out.
Stressed out, yeah.
And all of that's not even mentioning the fact that he turns into the Red Hulk.
Oh, yeah, we can't forget about that.
We can't forget about that whole other situation.
Yeah, so the review mentions that Ford is great as Ross.
Uh-huh.
But what about his Red Hulk?
Right.
Any hints about how he portrays that?
They're a little vague on the specifics.
Okay.
But they do say that Ford manages to convey Ross's struggle for control, even when he's all hooked out.
So you're saying even as this giant raging monster,
yeah,
he's still bringing some nuance to it.
It seems that way.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you portray the inner life of a giant red monster?
Right.
That takes serious acting chops.
It really does.
I'm getting some Clint Eastwood as the Hulk vibes.
Oh, I see it.
That quiet intensity.
Yes, definitely.
But, the review also highlights Carl Lumbly.
Yes.
Who is back as Isaiah Bradley.
Yeah, and they talk about the emotional weight that he brings to the film.
And, I mean, rightfully so. His story in Falcon the Winter Soldier was just heartbreaking.
Absolutely.
Really a stark reminder of the dark side of that super soldier program.
Yeah.
And how it exploited black soldiers.
For sure.
It's great that they're continuing his story.
It is.
In Brave New World.
Yeah, and the review really emphasizes how his performance adds another layer of social commentary to the film.
Interesting.
Exploring these themes of legacy and trauma.
Yeah.
And what it means to be a hero in a world that's often unjust.
It's fascinating that they're bringing back these characters.
Yes.
With these really complex backstories.
Right.
It's like they're building on the foundation of previous films and TV shows.
They are.
And creating this richer, more interconnected world.
Right. It's all part of the MCU tapestry.
Yeah. But it also makes you wonder, how do you balance those familiar elements?
Right.
With the need for fresh storytelling?
Yeah, that's the challenge, isn't it?
It is.
How do you keep things exciting without just retreading the same ground?
That's the eternal struggle.
It is.
For any long-running franchise.
For sure.
Right. So we've talked about the good and the bad. But I think the ultimate question is, would you see it?
That's the big question.
Would you actually go to the theater and spend your hard-earned cash on this movie?
Right. Is it worth it?
Based on the review.
It's tough. I'm getting some of those early Phase 4 vibes. Like the movie struggling to balance fan service with a compelling story.
Yeah, it's like you want to reward the longtime viewers with callbacks and cameos.
Right.
But you also need to create a film that can stand on its own.
Exactly. It can't just be all Easter eggs.
Right.
A thin plot.
And that's where I think the originality criticism really comes in.
Yeah.
It's not that a superhero movie can't borrow from other films.
Right.
It's how it does it.
Yes. Think about a movie like The Dark Knight.
Okay, yeah.
It took inspiration from crime thrillers like Heat and Seven. But it also brought something new to the table.
Right. So maybe Brave New World isn't as groundbreaking as The Dark Knight.
Right.
But it sounds like the performances are pretty solid.
Yeah, they are a big draw.
I mean, come on. Harrison Ford is Red Hulk.
I mean, who doesn't want to see that?
That's box office gold right there.
Yeah, I can't deny that star power.
Yeah, and it sounds like he's actually bringing some depth.
That's what they're saying.
To the character.
Yeah, he's not just phoning it in.
I'm picturing him giving one of his classic Harrison Ford grumples, but as a giant red monster.
I love it.
So ridiculous.
It just might work.
It might, yeah.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Carl Lumbly as Isaiah Bradley,
Right.
the emotional weight that he brings.
They really highlighted that
They did.
in the review.
And he just adds so much to that role.
Yeah, it's like they're using this superhero movie to explore some really complex issues.
Bizarre.
Like legacy and trauma and racial injustice.
Right.
This isn't exactly lighthearted stuff.
No, it's a risky move, for sure.
Yeah.
Because not everyone wants those heavy themes in their superhero blockbuster.
Right.
But when it's done well, it can really elevate the film.
Take Black Panther, for example.
Yeah.
That was a superhero movie, but it also sparked some really important conversations about race and representation.
Absolutely. So who knows? Maybe Bray's New World will do the same thing.
It's possible.
It might not be a revolutionary MCU film,
Uh-huh.
but it could offer something really valuable.
Yeah.
A deeper look at Sam Wilson as Captain America.
Yeah.
A nuanced portrayal of Thunderbolt Ross.
Okay.
And a continuation of Isaiah Bradley's story.
So would I see it?
Yeah, what about you?
I think I would.
Okay.
I'm curious enough
Uh-huh.
to see how they handle those complex themes.
Right.
And I'm always up for a good Harrison Ford performance.
Me too.
Even if he is red and raging.
Especially if he's red and raging. Yeah, I think I'm with you on that one.
So it might not be the most hyped MCU movie.
Yeah.
But it sounds like it has the potential to be something special.
I think so.
Yeah.
A thoughtful entry into this ever-expanding saga.
And hey, even if the plot isn't perfect,
yeah,
I think we can all agree that Anthony Mackie deserves his moment.
Absolutely.
As Captain America.
Yeah, he does.
It's been a long time coming.
Yeah, and this is really just the beginning for him.
It is.
Who knows what's next for Sam Wilson?
That's something we'll have to wait and see, and of course we'll be breaking it all down right here on APOP.
Absolutely. So make sure you hit that subscribe button.
And join us for more deep dives into the world of pop culture.
And don't forget to let us know what you think of Brave New World.
Yeah.
Once you've seen it, are you excited about this new era of Captain America? Head over to our social media and share your thoughts.
We love hearing from you.
We do.
Yeah.
10TNA